They say the older you get, the better you can control and channel your anger. However, this is not the case with Bob Knight, as the inability to control his ultimately cost him his job. Bob Knight is considered an iconic basketball coach in the state of Indiana, but the reasons he should be considered a cultural icon are far beyond his basketball coaching skills and successes on the court. This brings me to my first point, coaching. Bob Knight spent a total of 42 years as a college basketball coach at West Point Military Academy, Indiana University, and Texas Tech University. During his coaching career, he won a total of 902 career games, which at the time of his retirement was the all-time most by any men's basketball coach. The main point of his career was done at Indiana University, where he spent 29 seasons and retired with a 73% winning percentage. A quick quote from him at IU was, "Most people have the will to win, but few have the will to prepare to win." And a quick story to follow that quote up with is one of my friend's dads played basketball at Indiana University under Bob Knight. And it was the summer after his senior year, and he was down working out, and he had been running back and forth down a basketball court for 3 hours, and so he was pretty exhausted. And he said, "Hey, when does practice end?" And they said, "Practice hasn't even started yet." And I thought this was good because it talks about and shows how dedicated Bob Knight was to being the most successful and conditioned basketball team in the country, always out training and out preparing his opponents. During his time at IU appeared in 5 Final Fours and they won 3 national championships. 11 times was IU the outright Big Ten regular season champion, and in the 1975-76 season, they went 32-0, and Bob Knight became the last coach to ever coach a perfect season. And in the 74-75 season, the year before, they lost 1 game. So in 2 consecutive years, IU basketball lost only 1 game. And then the reason the USA basketball logo is up there is because Bob Knight was actually the head coach of the 1984 United States Olympic team that wound up going 8-0 in the tournament to win the gold medal, and they beat Spain in the championship game by over 30 points. Again, this shows the willingness to prepare by Bob Knight, as he was so much better prepared than the Spain coach. And this brings me to my second point of the importance of education. How many of you knew that Bob Knight was a professor at IU? That's right, not many of you. He actually taught the fundamentals of coaching class at IU for those interested in becoming a coach at some level after they graduated from college. Bob Knight chose this class because he believed people should only speak about what they know rather than what they think they know, which is still a very accurate thing in today's society. Bob Knight donated over $5 million to the IU library, which led to the success of all students, not just his basketball players, because he knew after they graduated from college they were going to need to be successful in the real world, so he wanted everyone at that school to have the best learning chances possible. Bob Knight also always requested attendance records from his basketball aides, and in some cases he would even kick basketball players off the team. And then a quote about Bob Knight from one of his former players, A.J. Guyton, was, "I can't guarantee you playing time right away, but I will guarantee you will have a fair opportunity to earn minutes. You will graduate, and there's nothing I won't do for you once you graduate." And again, this shows how loyal he was to his players, which brings me to my next point of loyalty. After the summer of the 1981 season, Landon Turner was paralyzed on the way to Kings Island with a bunch of his friends in a tragic car accident. Bob Knight raised money for wheelchairs, wheelchair-accessible vans, and he hired contractors to make sure his future house was wheelchair accessible. This shows loyalty because Bob Knight obviously didn't have to do that, and he was hoping to help out and improve one of the lives of one of his former players who gave it his all. And then another story about loyalty is actually about the same guy who was running up and down the court for 3 hours. And after he graduated, he had a degree in history from Indiana University, and he immediately decided he wishes he went into the medical field. He wound up working for a pharmaceutical company and taking some local science classes just to knock out his prereqs for med school. And then he had Bob Knight write him a letter of recommendation for entry to medical school, and now he is one of the most successful doctors in central Indiana. And so in conclusion, we all know Bob Knight as the most iconic basketball coach, but we should view him as a cultural icon for many reasons, such as his importance he placed on education and the fact that he was so loyal to former players who gave it his all. Thank you.